Women, I love you, but that good corporate job, that one that we like fought women's rights for and all that, it might be killing you. It might be the reason you don't have no man. It might be the reason that your health is going down the shithole. I don't know, all those things. If y'all think that I am the OG, fuck it, quit your job, do what you want to do person, then you have not met today's guest, Mackenzie, Mack, who literally got paid to leave a job that was doing shady shit, moved from Chicago to San Diego at like the drop of a dime just because she wanted. Now she's navigating like another huge life transition. This episode requires a disclaimer. Ding, 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 ding. Disclaimer, disclaimer. I do not want to get sued today. We might have a little legal stuff we talking about with work and fucked up stuff, but we are going to remit all names. Like, if we do say a name, it's a fake name. Identities are being concealed. No lawsuits today, please. My man is a lawyer, though, so if you got one, I'm ready. Stop playing. Did I miss anything in my intro?
I don't think so.
Period.
Yeah.
Okay. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here.
Okay.
I'm proud of you.
Wow. Kisses.
This is amazing.
Thank you. I have been calling you in my head the creative director, one of the creative directors of the I Love You But podcast, But Be For Real podcast. So,
oh my God,
yeah.
I love that. Did I Mack-ifest that? I literally put
Probably.
it out. It's crazy when you reached out to me about it because I was already like thinking about you because we hadn't talked in a while after I came back from San Diego. And then I wanted to get into, and I still do want to get into like photography, creative directing, like more like my creative side and getting in tune with that. So literally when you reached out, it was crazy.
See, Mack-ifesting. We're going to get into what Mack-ifesting really means because I know y'all are like, what the hell is that? So you've dealt with a lot of workplace traumas, things, like anything that somebody can go through, I feel like you have at work.
Literally all the worst case scenarios that like there are movies about it. It's been my life.
So how do you know like if your workplace, let me hear from you first. Like, what is your experience been like since you graduated college at work? Did you work before you went to college?
Yeah, so I've been working since I was 15, and I've had so many different jobs. Like, I worked at a pool. I've worked in a lot of restaurants as a hostess. I worked at Jimmy John's. I was like an intramural sports referee in college. I was a at the same time. We might have to cut that out. Talk to my lawyer.
That's a very important job that you had, doing the Lord's work over there.
Yeah. And then I went to school at Arizona State University, and I studied sustainability, and my focus was in energy and renewables. And I had some really cool internships there, and I studied abroad, and that's where I got into corporate sustainability. My jobs after that have all been at tech startups. Some in the sustainability, ESG space, and others in very technical DevOps, cybersecurity. So
everything, basically.
Yeah.
Everything. Okay.
So I've seen a lot of things, but I think the worst has been at tech startups.
Okay, so how did you know, like, okay, there's a toxic environment at tech startups versus like, okay, I'm adjusting to from being a college student to working full time, like there's an adjustment for everyone. So how did you know the difference between like that and like something is wrong?
Yeah, so I think just in general at tech startups, it's very fast paced and you're wearing a lot of hats and doing a lot of things, and it can be fun. And there's kind of, not that there's no rules, but you have the freedom to input your ideas and do a lot of things outside the scope of your work, which can be good in the right context. But in other contexts where there is a loose culture as far as like values, I think that's where it could start to get rocky. But also just in general, like working that much, like unlimited PTO, but not being able to use it. It's just like people just accept it for how it is.
You've worked in both blue collar and white collar jobs extensively. What would you say is the difference between those? Like, which do you think is more toxic overall? Because a lot of times people think like blue collar jobs, they're like beneath me, or they're like such hard work and I don't want to work that much and not make that much money. But like at the end of the day, do you think it's actually better to work in a white collar job?
I think they're different. The pay, honestly, I think people in blue collar jobs should get paid more money for the amount of work that they're doing. I feel like at blue collar jobs, now that people are working harder in a different way where it is completely in person. It's a lot of times it's physical. You're dealing with customers. Like I deal with customers too, but I feel like it's a little different because I'm behind my computer. And do you know what golden handcuffs are?
No.
Okay, that's when tech startups or just any job pays you like over the average salary for that position and give you more work. And it's kind of an excuse like, okay, instead of hiring 3 people, we're going to have this one person do the job of 3 people, but we're going to pay them over salary just so they don't leave. And it works. So I'm like, oh, I'm getting so much money, but I'm also working like 70-hour weeks and I can't leave because if I go somewhere else, like I won't get as much money. I don't know. It's kind of just like a manipulation thing.
Someone compared like working at my old job and as a consultant as being in an abusive relationship. So like every time that you think about leaving and you're like, I have had enough of this, they give you another gift. And you're like, oh, this is not that bad. Like, look at this great gift that I got. Like, oh, my 401k, like my 401k vested this year. This is not that bad. I'm fully vested. The next year, it's like a promotion. Oh, I'm not leaving. I just got promoted.
Damn, for us, it's like, oh, here's a bottle of wine. They used to send alcohol. That wasn't like the most toxic place. It's like, oh my God, I want to quit. And they're like, here is alcohol in the mail. Or like, oh, here's like catered lunch. But low-key, it did work. It did work for a little bit.
It's like when they were tranquilizing the housewives. And they were like, oh, you said you're unhappy just like being at home all day? Here's a tranquilizer.
Yeah.
That's what the alcohol is.
Because they're like, you won't fucking leave. Like, try it. Do it.
Here you go.
But now I'm like, fuck you guys. I will leave. And I think I've quit every job I've been at. But not in but in a good way.
Okay. So what is like the most like savage way you've quit a job that you're allowed to speak on?
Before college and before I had like real jobs, I've like no called, no showed. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, like you just didn't call
them. I just literally like did not show up. But in the corporate world, I think the most savage way was, dude, fuck HR. Sorry if you're in HR. They're not on your fucking side.
At all.
At all. And it's always some like, girl, I can only say that, I could say this because it has happened twice. It's some dumb fucking bitch who tries to like suck up to you and tries to be cute and sweet and then goes back and like
writes it all down and like talks to people and is like, oh, she said this, watch out for this one.
I understand it's their job, but I think it's the deception piece of it where they're like, oh, you can tell me anything. And then it's like, oh, actually you're fired. Oh, so the most savage way. I told my boss, I called my boss and I'm like, hey, I'm quitting. And he's like, well, why don't you talk to HR first? And I'm like, I have some shit to say. And at this place, there were a lot of sexual harassment claims from people on sales, from women on sales. And I'm not even joking, within the first month, he had 10 sexual harassment claims submitted against him and they didn't do anything. So,
to your knowledge, does he still work there?
Yeah.
How much money do you think he makes, even with 10 plus sexual harassment?
Not enough.
Places?
They should fucking sue him. So I went to HR and I'm like, I know my worth now from the experiences I've been through. And I'm like, hey, so I'm going to speak for everyone and say, like, you guys haven't done anything and over 10 people have submitted sexual harassment claims and I will speak for them and, like, you guys should do something about it and, like, get that executive leader fired before you have a lawsuit on your hands. And she's like, well, honestly, they all said it anonymously, so we haven't taken it that seriously, and we've talked to the CEO. And I'm like, well, you could tell them part of the reason I'm leaving is because of that, and that doesn't align with my values. And
Unanonymously. Tell them I
no,
said
yeah,
it,
and I'm like,
bitch.
tell them I said it. And they're like, well, do you want to get Laura? And I'm like, no, fuck you guys.
I'm quitting.
Yeah.
And I said what I said, so.
And I said it for them, yeah. And they're like, well, if we do fire this person and we hire someone else on your team, because that was a thing too. It was absurd the amount I was doing. And they wouldn't hire someone else, even though they had money. They're like, if we hire someone else on your team and fire this person, will you stay? And I'm like, no, fuck you guys, and make sure you tell them to their face.
Period.
And that was in San Diego, and I'm like, oh shit.
So
no, I don't got a job.
You did that like with no plan, but you were just like, it's so wrong what they're doing. People have tried to go the HR route and complain over 10 people or over 10 different instances of people trying. Nothing happened. So like I have to take matters into my own hands and kind of trust that everything is going to be okay.
Yeah, and I mean, I saved up some money, so that was fine. And also there, I wanted to get my project management, my PMP, so that certification. When I was telling them, they're like, oh, you need like 10 years of experience as a project manager and like you can't do it, blah, blah, blah. So that's part of the reason too. I'm like, fuck you guys. And then I went and did it and took a class at Cornell, like a whole program, and then I got it within a month. And then I was also pivoting to do like project management. So then I was like, fuck you guys. And so I knew I was going to get another job. I have always had jobs, and I'm a hard worker, so I'm not like worried about that. It was just like supporting my lifestyle. And in San Diego, like there's not really a backup plan. Like I can't like go to my parents and ask for money. Like I didn't come from a wealthy family, so it's just me. But I feel like that motivates me even more.
Do you think that regardless of its blue collar, white collar jobs, being a woman in the workplace is harder than being a man in the workplace?
Yeah, I would say women have other challenges, and it's more complex because we are women in a sense where, well, I mean, if we want to get into it now, the being attractive piece.
So
should I just say it?
Yeah, just say it.
It is hard being hot, not just only in the real life, which I guess work is real life.
Showcase your shirt.
But in the corporate world, it's hard being hot. I actually made this shirt.
Period. We have an entrepreneur here.
I made this shirt after I quit one of my jobs, and I'm like, fuck you guys. And people don't want to hear it, but it is. We have to deal with things that like it's not only our work and our work ethic, but being judged for how we look and attributing that to why we get certain things. Or it's even harder to get, let's say, a promotion or being taken seriously. Like at one of my jobs, I remember, it was that same fucking executive that
I deserve this promotion. They take abuse because they're compensating for not having like the conventionally attractive factor. But then eventually over time, I've seen it to where they may get bitter about it.
Yes.
And then when they do, like they get their promotions just at a slower rate, when they do get that promotion or they do kind of reach a certain level of power, then they pick on younger, attractive women.
Holy shit. I never thought about it that way. I would completely agree to like being extra nice and not wanting to disrupt anything and like overcompensating. And one thing I do want to know about the promotion thing, at least in my experience at tech startups, like no one's gotten promotions, but that's just because they haven't had money. But I have seen it in other situations where that happens. But the bitterness piece was harassing everyone else. He's like, oh, Mackenzie, I know you're fun and sweet, but like leave this to the big boys and like go off and do your work. And I'm like, I'm sitting here with the entire executive team and CEO in these conversations, and you're just gonna say that and completely dismiss my work? There's a reason why I'm sitting at the table here, and it's because I have excellent work.
So he literally said, leave this to the big boys?
Yeah. And then I'm like, dude, how the fuck is this okay? I mean, that's only like one
small instance.
Yeah. Or it's like, oh, Mackenzie, this is from like a female manager also on executive team. Oh, Mackenzie, you're being distracting to the boys. Like, don't do that. Like, be less. Or, oh, you need to keep these guys in control. Like, she was referring to sales. Oh, you're too young. Remember when I was your age and I did this? I swear, the list of things that people have said to me in the workplace is egregious.
I think, like, the things that people say to me at my old job weren't too bad. Like, I've gotten, like, oh, so you're more than just a pretty face. Like, someone said that to me. And it's like, you can't really do anything about it. You just have to, like, ha, 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 yeah, I am. But something I noticed for people who aren't, for women specifically who may be overweight or not conventionally attractive, is they overcompensate by being super nice and, like, super agreeable and taking on more things without speaking up and being like, hey, this was too much, or...
Oh my God, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Because all the abuse that I've gotten from women in the workplace, they have had that, well, at least two of them have had that personality in that space. And then they take it out on me, and...
Because they're like the same thing as the men, like, you don't deserve to be here. You only got this job because you look good. I had to actually work to get where I'm at because I don't have these looks like you.
Yeah, and being younger, can we just talk about being a younger female in the workplace and getting dismissed? So it's like, oh, okay, you're younger, you're pretty, like, you just get things handed to you, whatever. No, there's a reason why they hired me, and there's a reason why you're older, I'm talking about women, and I'm younger, but we are in the same position, or I came in a higher position than you. You think it's because I'm pretty and that's why they put me? No.
And it doesn't apply to all women who are more heavy set or unattractive and or both. It doesn't apply to all. Like, I know ones who don't do that and don't carry that bitterness, but the ones who don't carry the bitterness, I even see them as grown women, partners at the firm I used to work at, that would say self-deprecating comments about themselves, like, oh, you just had a kid, not to me, but like another woman, you just had a kid, you look like that, I haven't recovered and I haven't had my last kid since 10 years ago, like, but you're a whole partner, she was like a lovely, nice person and not bitter, but it's like, then you're still making those self-deprecating comments about yourself.
Do you think maybe it's like a confidence thing? So already if like they're not confident in the workspace, they're even less confident, and that maybe why they don't speak up about things, like coming into it, like...
I think it's a confidence thing, but I also think it's a thing of scientifically, there have been studies that show that people are more likely to trust you, people are more likely to give you a job as a woman if you're in shape and have a more symmetrical face, like conventionally attractive. So that being said, I think they don't speak up because they're scared they won't get to keep their job.
Yeah.
Because...
Have you ever heard of someone getting fired because they're ugly? Have you heard of someone getting fired because they're promiscuous or the sexual harassment? Okay, you know what I mean?
I think it's a double-edged sword because I think like
really
both sides go through things, but where I take issue is the women who don't go through the struggles that we may go through when they turn bitter and don't support other women. I understand that I have a set of privileges that you don't have, just like if you're a white woman who's unattractive and big, you have a set of privileges in the real world. In the workplace, this may be controversial, but I really think black women and white women is like kind of similar in corporate America. I don't think that like a white woman has so much more privilege than I do in corporate workplace. In real life, yes, but like in corporate workplace, no. I think pretty similar.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like being an attractive, in shape, young woman, I probably have more privilege than a heavy-set, unattractive white woman. Yeah. Like, to be honest, in the corporate workplace.
And playing devil's advocate, like, how do you know you're attractive, specifically in the workplace, compared to unattractive?
One, like, the comments that people might make of, like I said, like, oh, so you're more than just a pretty face. Like, that has been said to me at work before.
That's how you know that you're attractive. If anything has been said to you in the workplace, like, there are situations I've been in, like, where a person in leadership position has been like, the first time I saw you, wanted to fuck you. You're so fucking hot.
See,
like, I want to undress
these tech startups is crazy. Because they was not doing all that at my job.
Because there's rules there and there's punishment. It's like the fucking Wild West, literally, at these tech startups. And that's where it's like, oh, it's fun, and like we get to go to happy hours and like no rules, but literally that there are no rules.
Yeah.
And people be saying these fucking things.
That's crazy, because I've experienced, the craziest thing was like, it was this guy, and he was a black guy too. And he was maybe like around 40. And he was a senior manager, and then eventually he got promoted to director. After there was ethics complaints against him, he still got promoted, but he would make comments towards me about like being light-skinned, and he would say stuff like, are you part Chinese because you're taking off the Chinese New Year? I wasn't taking off for that. I was just going to Miami for my friend's birthday. And he's like, oh, you're going to be off during Chinese New Year. Are you part Chinese? I was like, no. And he was like, oh, it might be something your mom not telling you. Da, 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 da.
Is your mom white?
No, she's light-skinned. Lighter than me. But still, he don't know what my mom looks like. He doesn't know what my mom looks like regardless. And then he made some comment about, I was telling him, yeah, I want to get promoted to manager. Like, I want to honor my black ancestors, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, so you must not be speaking about your white ancestors then. Insinuating I'm in this workplace because I'm an attractive, light-skinned girl.
Do you think he's trying to make you insecure or like projecting?
No, I think he was trying to flirt with me. Because I had heard he don't work there no more, so I think I could say this. So you
don't work there anymore. Who the fuck cares?
I don't know. I hope I ain't signed no shit when I left. But I had heard he had went to Miami with this other black girl associate for like the Miami Carnival. And they didn't go together, but somehow they bumped into each other.
Classic story.
Bumped into each other and like were dancing and stuff like that. And I just think he would target, because obviously there's not a lot of black young women in the industry, or not as many. I think he would target us because he's a black man of power, I'm putting it in quotes. And he can use that to get young, pretty women. But yeah, I think like that's kind of how you know. And also, you know, because you can get away with more stuff than somebody who doesn't have the looks in the same way. I don't have to wear a suit or a blazer, even if I'm going to the client. I don't have to do that because I'm cute.
Yeah. If anything, if you were to dress up, then it's like,
yeah, then
it could be
like,
worse.
Oh, you look so nice, or like make a comment about it. Like people make comments, but yeah, like I don't have, the way I dress when I was in different office settings is because I wanted to wear what I wore. But I remember actually one time at a client, I wore these heels, but I was at this client and I was wearing heels. And they weren't going out heels. It was like a boot heel with my outfit. And the guy at the client made a comment like, oh, yeah, you going to walk around in those all day? You going to take the stairs in those or whatever? Sir, this just matched with my outfit. Wasn't nobody wearing nothing for you to make your little comments.
They shouldn't be making comments in general. Like, no comment should be made ever on your appearance.
But like as a woman, you just get them. But then at the same time, like I said, I can get away with like someone who's less attractive. They got to put their makeup on. They got to do their hair. They got to make sure every day when they come, they're presenting as good as they possibly can. And that's exhausting.
Yeah.
That is exhausting. I can't imagine having to do that every day. And it was a woman, and I wouldn't say she was unattractive, but I think she was overcompensated because she was also black and not young, but she would come on our virtual calls every fucking day with a full face of makeup, her hair, she's black, so you know black hair take longer to do, her hair done in an outfit, and she got 4 motherfucking kids. Absolutely the fuck not. Never would I ever. I have 0 kids. 4 youth, but she felt like she had to compensate and show up in that way to every call. It's crazy.
That's
like
crazy.
So,
I'd be like rolling out of bed looking like gross, dusty, wearing like the same clothes for 3 days.
I don't be wearing no pants on the bottom.
Yeah. Oh no.
It just be the top. maybe if I do have a jacket or a blazer, it's because I'm covering something else. Like, oh, I'm wearing like a tank top and I'm covering my titties or whatever. Because also the thing is, when you have big titties, something that you wear looks different on you than it looks on somebody else who don't have titties.
Honestly, your job is like way more professional and corporate, like in consulting.
But it's not more corporate; it's more professional.
More professional
because of what they were saying.
Yeah.
At your job, because they can get away with saying whatever they want to say at your job.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say it's more corporate. But yeah, I guess like for women, long story short, it's a lot that goes into being a woman at work, regardless if you're attractive or not, regardless if you work blue collar or white collar. Our experience is just different. And I don't think we talk about that enough because we think like, oh, we've moved past it. We have women CEOs and what the fuck was that Sheryl Sandberg thing, Lean In and all the bullshit that not saying she bullshit, but it kind of is bullshit. But, like, at the end of the day, like, I could lean in and be confident about my abilities, but I can't control the fact that men who are in charge are going to perceive me a certain way or do certain things. So all that bullshit, you need to be talking to the men about what they need to do to change their lives around. Or you need to be talking to the bitter women who's trying to bully and haze younger women.
For what?
Don't try to bully and hate, because it be women too. But
the worst has been women. And it's not like before it's like, oh, like a wage gap, whatever. Like I think it's evolved to where now the thing I have to deal with is like not being taken seriously because how I look, just being the harassment piece of it. Where it's just like, it really affects your mental health. Like I'm working so hard and it's just really fucking annoying and stressful to have that, to be undermined.
Exactly.
But women, no, they've been fucking terrible.
That's why people trying to go back to being housewives and shit, because this shit is
that what's
ghetto.
happening?
Yeah, it's like the trad wives. People trying to go back to doing. You haven't heard of that? And the girls wearing the milkmaid dresses and shit. Oh yeah, that's a whole other.
You gotta
topic.
send me that.
Yeah,
shit.
That's a whole other topic. They doing that.
Like Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah, they trying to go back to that. Like not that specifically, but like that type of outfit, like wearing. And apparently some of the girls is wearing it to the club.
What the fuck? I want like ass out, titties out at the fucking club.
Right.
Booty hole out.
Right. Booty hole brown.
Did you ever look?
No. Okay, I gotta ask. My man. I gotta ask. So neither of us, you spoke about this a little bit in the beginning, like neither of us come from like generational wealth. So how did like we both at different points in times pull off that kind of outlaw, chaotic behavior without being homeless, hungry, selling coochie on the street?
Thought about it.
How did you see? I thought about it in college. I couldn't do it though. That's when I thought about it because I almost had to drop out because I ain't had no money. So,
really?
Yeah. So I almost.
You didn't take out loans? I still have student loans.
I know. I have loans, but there was only a certain amount I could take out because I didn't have no cosigner.
Okay.
So I took out the max that I could take out, but then once I couldn't take out no more, I was like, well.
So what'd you do?
God, I prayed. I worked like any type of random thing, like you know them little studies that they would do, and you get paid to do them studies.
Yes. Or like shit on Craigslist. Like there were. This is when I was younger, but they would pay you $100 for an hour to go and like walk these little kids like on the plane. Like, you can get money at some places where it's like, oh, shit.
And it's not sketchy. Not that selling your coochie is sketchy if you're good with selling your coochie, but it's not something where you have to sell your coochie. Like, there's a bunch of different random things. And then also, I went to my school's financial aid, not the overall school of NYU, but, like, the business school specifically, and was like, this is my situation. This is why I need this extra whatever. Will you or will you not? Because if I don't, I'm going to have to literally drop out. And I got a little extra support there as well. But yeah, I had to work my ass off, do so many random different things to make ends meet. I had to be so creative with the way that I even like had food. Like, okay, you go to a club meeting, is there going to be dinner there? Like that type of thing.
Yeah, I feel like because I didn't come from money, it's motivated me to work harder. And that's why I've always worked. Like, at the end of the day, there's nothing to, like, fall back on. So I'm always, like, not hustling, but, like, I just have to make money. Like, I can't be lazy and like
I
not really
think,
work.
like,
And it's helped me be like find creative outlets to make money, even with like selling clothes and selling other things.
like that's actually a key piece that I didn't even consider. Like, we're able to do this crazy, chaotic, quitting our job if somebody's disrespecting us or whatever the case may be, because we're hustlers. We know how to get to money in unconventional, even if it's not ungodly, whatever.
And we're
like,
smart, like
unconventional ways. But we're smart in a way of street smart, because other people that work corporate jobs, they're smart in a certain way if they do their job well. They're corporate smart.
Yeah.
But we're able to be like, okay, I'm not getting money from a 9 to 5 right now because they done piss me off. What is my plan? And we're able to like know how to make ends meet because we came from a background of not just having like, oh, I have this big allowance, or oh, my parents send me this much money when I'm at school every month. Like, we didn't have that, so we had to get creative. Whereas people who never had to learn how to make it and learn how to get creative with survival, maybe you don't want to quit your job because without a backup job.
Yeah.
Right? Because,
and I mean, I always know, like, I have a lot of experience and I'm a hard worker, so I know I'm going to get another job, and I know I can always go work at a restaurant and be a server. Now I'm at a point where I'm confident enough to be able to quit a job where I know I could find another one, and I have that confidence.
Because for me, I have my CPA, and I didn't use it for my job in consulting. People joke and say it stands for can't pass again. I genuinely could not pass again. I don't even remember like all the sections. But do you want to?
Like, would you want to
go back to that?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But I know I can. And the
Right.
reason I got it was because the job was paying for it, and they was giving you a bonus if you passed within a year. And I was like, you know what? I want that bonus, and also I want to know that I can get a job at any point if it comes to it. I don't have to worry about ever being unemployed.
Yeah.
CPAs are always going to have a job.
See, that's smart.
I set myself
up.
up for that when I was 21, 22. I set myself up for that. So I think anybody who may be like younger or like at a point like you're trying to make big life decisions, set yourself up to be able, especially women, to be able to leave any job and know that you're going to be okay, because it's not worth the abuse, whether it's sexual harassment or being overworked or having
your mental health.
Like for me, I had to do like good client work, but then I had to do admin work that like my male peers weren't being asked to do. That like just fell on me. Party planning, event planning, all that type of stuff.
Though.
Like I am though. I am, but you're not paying me for that.
Right.
You're not giving
what am I
me-
going to say? No.
Yeah, like
you
you're not
can't.
paying me for that. So I think always put yourself in a position where you have a backup and learn about creative ways to make money. We all have skill sets that are like things that we know how to do or have interest in outside of corporate America, and you should always be building those and adding those. So I think that's like really the core of like why we were able to just do these things, because we know that we're going to survive because we've had to figure it out and survive before. Back to the Mack-ifesting that we talked about in the beginning. What's the definition of Mack-ifesting? What does that mean?
So I think Mack-ifesting is being in tune with your intuition and trusting yourself and really thinking about your goals and where you want to go and seeing that future, and then planning those steps and not making impulsive decisions, because that's something that people think I do a lot, but it's really just knowing your worth, knowing what you want to do, knowing your potential talents, having a plan, and then following through with it. And the execution piece, I think, is the biggest part, because I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. But like for me, I actually do it. And for some people, that's like really hard to act on that. But I think for me, that's the easiest part, which can be tricky because it can come off as impulsive. And because I've
that's
ADHD,
because people don't know
right,
the thought that went behind it.
Right. And I think I still tell myself that even with San Diego, like I wanted to do it, I had a plan, and then I did it. If I don't tell people the plan because I don't know for sure yet, and then I'll just tell them when I do it. And then it's like, oh my God, what happened? It's like, no, I've been thinking about this and I've been wanting to do it, and it aligns with my beliefs and my goals and my values, and I'm gonna fucking do it.
And you did it.
And
That's
I fucking
the thing.
did it. Yeah.
People don't. I think the balance is thinking it through logically and having a plan B and a backup plan, even if you don't ever plan to use it. Like when you ask me, do I want to do my CPA stuff? No, I don't want to ever do accounting. But I know that it lives there as an option, and it allows me to go and do the things that I want to do that seem like big jumps to other people without fear, because I know there's like that foundation that I have.
Yeah. And also, I've already thought through all the scenarios. Like, being a project manager, it's like, okay, what's worst case scenario? And in that worst case scenario, like, what would I do? And I already have like 5 or 6 different plans, and it's like, if this goes bad, then I could do this. Like, I've thought everything through, and I feel like maybe some people are like scared to think of that worst case scenario or don't want to,
yeah,
but
and they're like, you want to have blind faith, but it's like, I don't believe in blind faith. I believe that like faith is having a backup plan and then letting it go and doing what you know you're supposed to do.
Yes, and trusting in it. Have you ever read The Alchemist?
I just read it.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite books, and I have it like tattooed on me too. But when you are following like your personal legend and what you're supposed to do, and you know deep down like this is what's meant for you, that is when you take those actions and those steps, and things will always work out. And if they don't, there's a reason why it wasn't meant to be.
You were stopped for a reason.
Yeah, but like once you're like really in tune with yourself and your intuition, I think, I mean, I call it Mack-ifesting because it's like manifesting, but I feel like I do a really good job at it, so people start joking. And
yeah, you do a really good job at it, and like you have results to show for it.
Hell yeah.
It's like you should maybe get it trademarked. Mack-ifesting.
I did. So I actually like made a website and like Instagram and everything.
Ooh. Okay. Period.
But yeah, because that's something that's been on like the back of my mind that I've wanted to do.
Okay.
And I didn't think I was ready, but maybe it's time.
Maybe it's time. Our creative director, she wanna Mack-ifest some more shit. Do you have, based on everything that you've done, do you have any regrets on how you've done things, how you've made like those big pivots that people told you not to make?
I would say in the workplace, quitting and leaving, I could have done it more gracefully at times, but also I had a lot of anger and the savagery came out, and that's how I expressed myself. And I mean, it was badass, and if anything, it made like more of an impact, because I was like, fuck you guys, like this is fucked up. I think with relationships, I am still working on them, and the thing with being able to just like cut someone off or just like not communicate or say like fuck you, bye, because I am good at that. I regret certain situations where I could have treated people better, and I think that goes into work too. Like, it can be beneficial to just be like, fuck you, like, I'm done with this.
Like, it works well in, like, a place where people are disrespecting you, but then it's like you have to learn to tone it back in situations where it's like, well, I actually do respect this person, I value this person, I just don't think that we're a good match, or we shouldn't be friends anymore, or whatever the case may be.
And I think that's communication, absolutely, and just not even running away, it's just being scared, like, making people upset, but it makes people more upset when you just cut them off. So
yeah,
I have to mend a few relationships, and just don't burn bridges, especially in the workplace. And I mean, I need to be better at that, but seriously, like, when, as far as networking and whatever industry you're in, like, those relationships will come back down the line, and I never thought about that before, but like, it's happened where it's like, oh shit, like, I know this person and I may have said a few things to them or been a little savage, and now I have to, like, not apologize, but be conscious of that. And I just think that's really important in the professional world.
Yeah.
Being more professional. But also it's fun being like, fuck you, bye, because people need to hear that shit sometimes.
I think I really learned and mastered how to professionally curse someone out. I'm really good at it.
Okay, give me an example.
An example? Okay, no, I don't have an example of that. Okay, wait. So my example is like, number one, I'm going to be nasty nice. It's something I learned from my mom. My whole family is like this, actually. They learned it from my grandfather. Where it's like, I'm not going to be mean or be like, why you do that? That's so wrong or whatever. I'm going to be like, say I see you're not putting the cash in my hand from like a store, you're a grocery store associate, and you don't put the cash in my hand. I'm gonna be like, okay, like I see you're trying to be disrespectful in my head, but I'm gonna be like, is there a reason that you put that there? Is there more that you're trying to get? Whatever, instead of being like, bitch, why the fuck you didn't put it in my hand? Now I could take it there when I need to. Don't think I can't and I won't.
Do you think that's like passive aggressive?
No.
It's respectful.
I'm asking you a question.
Yeah.
Is there a reason that you didn't put it in my hand?
That's a good point. You ask them and put it
because maybe
yeah.
there is a reason, right? Like, now, if you say, no, it ain't no reason, then maybe I could take it there. Maybe now I could be like, but I saw you give the other person in their hand.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between him and me?
Yeah.
Or her and me, whatever.
Yeah.
So I think like that's how I do it. Or like even in emails, or I'm always gonna be super kind and nice until you piss me off. Cause like that's the thing with me is like it take a lot of energy to be super nasty nice. Mm-hmm. So it's like by the time that you get, like if you start getting an attitude with me, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna take it right there. But in the beginning, I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, can we arrange this? Can we do that? Can we?
How are you via email? What is your name? Honestly, I'll just ignore them. Like, I think that's my thing, but that's also like a defense mechanism.
I don't ignore.
I'll just ignore people till they get mad.
I don't.
Also, sometimes I won't do it on purpose, but.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'll be like, best wishes. Like, all the best.
Wait, should I say that like normally?
I appreciate you. I appreciate you responding to this. As per our last email chain,
you're one of those bitches?
Yes. I will be like, as per our last conversation on XYZ date, we agreed to 1, 2, and 3 was my understanding. Please confirm or let me know if I'm missing something.
Wait, are you talking about work or real life?
Both.
Yeah, no,
because that's how I ask. So, yeah.
Well, I've been in customer service, so I haven't been able to, like, say shit like that. I always have to be the one apologizing or, like, sucking up to people. So I think that's why maybe recently, I mean, I'm still technically in customer service, but I'm more so not afraid to, like, talk shit. Also, I keep it professional. I don't want it to seem like I'm telling people to fuck off.
Professional, but it's like to a point. Like I remember my first job was a bagger at a grocery store, Acme, and I was like, everybody loved me. Like all the people there loved me. I was super patient, more patient than people who've been working there for years, and I'm like 14. And it was one lady who, I don't know if she was just like in a bad mood or if she was racist or whatever. She was like an older white lady, and I had put her bread on top for the bag too, and she said something about how I did it or whatever, and I was like, no, I put the bread on top, like, and I actually didn't even have an attitude at this point. I was just factually speaking, and I gave her stuff or whatever, and then she went and like tried to report me to my manager, like, oh, I had an attitude. And mind you, like, people would try to give me tips as a bagger at Acme.
Also, you're gonna complain to a manager about how someone's bagging your bag? Do it yourself.
Like, I was like a golden child there. So when she tried, and then my manager tried to say something to me, like at that point, I've always had a rule like, you're not my mom, you're not my dad. So you're not going to talk to me no type of way, especially if I'm not in the wrong. If I'm in the wrong, it's like, all right, you could get a little stern. But if I'm not in the wrong, no, you're not going to talk to me no type of way.
See, you're really good at setting boundaries, and I think that's something. I'm a people pleaser. I can be, which I'm trying to get better at. And like in work situations, I've tried to like suck up to like managers to make them, even though they've said like insane things.
No, that's not right. I wouldn't do that. I want everybody to like feel like I did a good job, and I want to do my job, and I want to do my job well because that's who I am. But at the end of the day, I have boundaries.
Yeah.
I have boundaries, and you're not going to fuck with me. You're not going to disrespect me, and you're not going to talk to me crazy. I could overwork. Like, you could throw more work than you should at me, and I'll probably do it, right? It's just certain boundaries that I've always, since I was 14, been like, I'm not accepting this. And my parents have always stood by me in that too. I think is a big thing. Like, they weren't like, India, you were supposed to. Because I know some Black people and people of color, like, their parents are like, you should be grateful to have a job. You should be grateful to do this. You need to be in that workplace, and you need to respect them. I know that's some people's experience, but thankfully that was never mine. Like, my parents was like, oh, you could do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Like, you're so smart. You can do literally anything in this world. So if you're telling me that they're not treating you this way, then fuck it. Yeah.
No, I've been grateful my parents are like that too, which I feel like has helped me have the confidence to be able to like do whatever I want, because they're like, you're so smart, you got it. Like, I used to have bitterness because I'm like, oh, well, we don't have money, like, I can't do X, Y, Z, whatever, but like their support, that's motivated me to work harder, and then just their support has helped, always having someone on your team.
Period. I think people don't consider how much support that they have, like, in deciding to make a huge decision. People feel more alone than they really are. I understand it's a privilege to have parents that are supportive, or like any type of family member that's supportive, but at the end of the day, most people have more than what they recognize they have. Even if it's not financial, like generational wealth, you have something. Like, you have people in your life that aren't going to let you go hungry.
Yeah. Or even just support in general. Like, that's how I felt about you. And even with quitting my job that one time and moving to San Diego, like, we did yoga teacher training together, and that's how we met. And through that support system of women and just being vulnerable, open, all of us sharing our experiences, I've never had that before in my life, just being with such a positive and supportive group of women. And that gave me the confidence to speak up. And then I knew, like, going back, you guys would have my back. And you remind me of that all the time. I remember, I'll never forget this, when you were like, you don't always have to be 100%. Like, you could talk to me when you're at 2%, or like, I'll literally just sit in the room with you, and you don't always have to show up and be like your best self. And I think about that all the time because, yeah. No, seriously, it makes me cry. Like, when you did say that, like, I broke down crying, but I think for me, like, I should ask for help more often. And I always think I have to, like, do things on my own. And just being reminded that I have a support system in you, that, like, you'll always be there.
Yeah, and, like, I think more of us have that than we realize that we have. Because to your point, we think we have to do it all on our own. But something that I've learned through my journey of doing what the fuck I feel like, it's like I'm able to do that because I do lean on my support systems for different things. Even if it's just mental help, or like, oh, can I get your opinion on this podcast topic, or can I get your help with this? Like, I'm always able to lean on everyone, even if it's not from a financial perspective. There's just so much help and support that I get. So I think anyone, if you feel like it's time to leave that job, start looking around you.
Remember, at the end of the day, it's a job. They could fire you. They don't care about you. Like, sure, culture is values, but, like, you have to look out for yourself. And you always need a backup plan. And I never want to be in a position where I feel stuck at a job, especially if it's toxic. And there's so many opportunities out there. You just have to look for them.
Period. I think that was a good summary of our episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow ILY Butt Podcast on Instagram and TikTok, and then ILY Butt BFFR on Spotify, YouTube, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Coming up next on next episodes, we'll talk to a mental health professional about how no one's gonna save you. We're gonna talk to people about their different experiences in the corporate world and working as a studio engineer. Different things coming up for y'all. But love y'all. But be for real with yourself, as always. Bye.
Bye.